Hello everyone, my name is Jianyu Zhang. Today I want to talk about the classic Hong Kong gangster film, A Better Tomorrow. It is directed by the Jianyu. But instead of focusing just on its action or visual style, I want to explore why this kind of film resonated so deeply with Hong Kong audience in the 1980s, and what that says about the city's cultural and political situation at that time. My main argument is this: A Better Tomorrow created what we might call alternative sovereignty. In other words, at a time when the political identity in Hong Kong was unclear and the sense of belonging was so fragile, the film offered a different kind of order, one based on brotherhood, loyalty, and sacrifice. One is that field of emotional and moral gap left by the formal institutions. Use the two scholar sayings. First, Lau Weiker in the Hong Kong Undercover article argues that the Hong Kong people live under what he calls cooperative clinical structure, British code crucial rule, supported by the local elites. This system gave people little space for political agency. They didn't feel truly British, but they were fully Chinese either. That identity confusion created a kind of emotional and political void. Then we have Morgan Morris, who talks about how Hong Kong cinema turns this local anxiety into emotions that international audiences are related to, like the things loyalty, betrayal, and sacrifice. He called it Hong Kong transitional imagination. This is what helped films like A Better Tomorrow successfully globally. They have emotionally grounded, even if the politics were complex. It is complex at that time. Let's talk about the film itself. The gang in A Better Tomorrow is not just a criminal group. It is actually shown as a community that street coast, share values and a sense of duty. The main character, Song Ji-ho, who sacrificed everything to protect her brother, who represents the legal system. In doing so, he becomes a tragic hero, not because he follows the law, but because he follows a kind of moral logic rooted in the honor among brothers. This alternative moral order, what we might call Jianghu or underworld code, feels more real and trustworthy than the official legal system. Why do so? Because for many Hong Kongers at that time, the state wasn't something they could emotionally invest in. They found meaning in bonds and loyalty shown on screen. Film scholar Stephen Hill says that this kind of hero films are really about building a structure of feeling. They are not just reflecting the reality, they're responding to it. And Abbas also points out that while legitimacy is missing for the real life, cultural identity often forms in that very absence. But this kind of the structure didn't last forever, especially in the late 1990s. Things have changed. Privacy with city culture hit the industrial hard, and politically, Hong Kong were entering a new phase after the 1997 handover. Hong Kong became a real part, not just the colonial part. In China, films like The Inferno efforts started exploring more complex identity things. The undercover agents blur lines between the good and the evil, reflecting more the uncertain era. Michelle Curtin talks about how Hong Kong cinema began turning toward the Chinese mainland market, essentially becoming what he called super-co-structures in China's state-led cultural industry. And Victor Fan argues that even while these films are co-produced with China mainland, but they still maintain a kind of cultural to a sense, a cultural extraterritoriality It is a sense of being both inside and outside at once. So when we watch A Better Tomorrow today, I think it is more just like a stylish gangster movie. It is a response to a very specific historical moment, a time when Hong Kongers were searching for meaning, order, and identity in a world where state felt absent. Full story of the loyalty and the sacrifice feel like this offer not just entertainment but emotional rescues. It is really emotional reassurance, I think so. So thank you for your listening, and here is my reference list. Thank you.